Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a long time, right? Well, I have a good reason for that. So you guys saw in one of my last videos that was uploaded that I'm an elite Paralympic athlete. And you're probably wondering, Paralympic, why Paralympic? Well, I don't know if any of you guys have noticed in any of my videos, but I actually have a visual impairment. I think I talked about it actually in the last video where I was explaining my sport and the training that I have for my sport. And I actually have a condition called aniridia, which in simple terms is kind of a disorder of your iris. So your eye lets too much light in and doesn't control the amount of light that's let in general. And so everything all the time looks really bright, and it also limits your vision to under 10%. Generally with this eye condition, it gets better as the generations go on. So my mom has it, her dad had it, so I can see a little bit more than my mom, but in general, it is still not great compared to people who can see normally. So now you know something new about me. When I tell people this, a lot of people try to relate to me and go, oh yeah, when I take off my glasses, I'm really blind. And I'm always like, yeah, but I don't think that you're as blind as I am in general. So this is a congenital disorder, which means that I was born with it. So what I can see is just what I see. I haven't known what seeing perfectly is in my entire life. And so here I am today. Anyways, as you've seen in my other video, myself and my team was qualified for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. I've been to 2 previous Paralympic Games in Rio, where our team earned a bronze medal, and in London, where our team just missed out and got 6th place. And that was my first experience in London. I was only 18 years old and I soaked it all in, but I was very disappointed at the end. And so last year I split my time between Germany and the US because I actually had promised my team before we moved to Germany and before I got engaged that I would be training with them at our resident athlete center in Fort Wayne, Indiana for the remainder of time leading up till Tokyo. Now the coronavirus hit and some things changed. I moved to Germany with my husband, but I did still keep my promise and use the majority of time by training with my team. So I wasn't there 100% of the time from May 2020 until September 2021, but I did a 60-40 split where I spent a lot of the time in the US, but then I would have periods of time in my training cycle where I would be in Germany. And luckily for me, there are so many great things about Germany, including the fact that I can still train my sport in Germany. So I can use the Olympic Training Center here in Berlin. I have a goalball team here in Berlin, and we're able to practice different things on a regular basis. There are things in Germany that were closed during this time, so non-tier athletes who were not training for Tokyo could not train for their sport for a really long time. So it was just my husband and I training together. He's also an athlete who's on the German Paralympic team for the same sport that I play. Now, unfortunately, his results in Tokyo were not as spectacular as ours, but they kind of had a really bad situation in general in the group. And if you watched any of the Paralympics and you were here in Germany, you know that his group was at a place where all the teams in their group were tied with points. And they had the lowest point differential and were therefore just cut out from the quarterfinals and didn't have a chance to fight. And our team had a different situation. We had a lot of success in Tokyo, and we came back with this silver medal. I'm going to insert pictures because I know that the quality of this video is not really that great. I'm filming it on my phone right now because I have a lot of other things to do today, but I did want to push out a video to you guys. The Paralympic medals are a little bit different than the Olympic medals. I will show you a little bit more in depth. And the Paralympic medals have Braille on them right here. So athletes can see and feel that it says Tokyo 2020. There are a lot of other things where athletes can distinguish their medals. So this is the back of the medal here, and this is the front. And for athletes to distinguish what color medal they got, there is actually a dot system. So for the blind athletes who have multiple medals, which in team sports is not a thing, there's these 2 little dots on the side, 1, 2, and you know you got 2nd place. There's also something inside of the ribbon here that you can feel And they're two little points, and you know by feeling those points, you might be able to see an imprint here of those little dots that you also got second with the medal. So each games is different, and so are the designs of the medal. And if you saw the video that I posted last, I think that I showed you guys what was really special about the Rio medal, and it was the fact that they had something inside of the medal where you could shake and you could hear exactly which color you got depending on the sound that came out of that medal. We got a bronze in Rio, so our medal was the softest sound. And if you want to see that, you can go to my last video. I also have it here. I actually wanted to come back to YouTube after I was done with my training and the Paralympic Games had concluded, but unfortunately I actually got injured in Tokyo and I was unable to play past our semifinal game. And by the time that I came back to Germany, I had a lot of doctor's appointments in Germany, in the US, in Portugal, seeing all of these specialists because nobody could figure out exactly what my injury was or how I obtained that injury. And I didn't get any answers until the end of December. I've been in a sport rehab program, so I've been really busy trying to get myself back to a shape where I can go ahead and play my sport again because I would like to qualify for the Paris 2024 games with my team. And I was honestly just in a really bad mental space because of just everything that happened in Tokyo leading into that injury. And the process after Tokyo of not having any answers, not being able to get treated. I was not able to see my family afterwards because of the treatment process that I was trying to go through here. And I actually had intended to see my family, but I needed to go to one of the Team USA doctors in Colorado Springs, and then they ended up keeping me for longer, and I wasn't able to see my family really at all. So it has been a little bit over a year since I've been on YouTube, and it has been a little bit crazy. But now that I've lived in Germany for a little while, I can give you guys kind of a better view on what I think of Germany, my experiences. I know I got a lot of feedback in some of my previous videos where people were like, oh my gosh, this is the typical American who came to Germany thinking that they're so entitled and this and that. But the thing is that I think everybody has their own experiences. So when you come to a country, you have a lot of preconceived notions about that country, about the citizens and people who live in that country. And in general, you have kind of a taste of your own of what you grew up around, of the things that you like and don't like. And as an expat, I think those things change over time. Your experiences shape who you are and the views that you have on things. So for me, I didn't have a lot of preconceived notions on Germany before I came. I just had a lot of experiences as an American. And I had opinions of what I did like and what I didn't like. And I do think in the same way that Germans look at people and say, oh, they should come more like with an open mind and not say, oh, I don't like this or this or this. And in general, you have opinions, you have experiences that shape those. And over time, mine have changed a little bit, but it doesn't mean that I do like things that I didn't used to like or not like things that I used to like. And I want you guys to keep in mind that we are coming over as expats or immigrants, and all of us have grown up in a really different environment. We're opening up our lives to you and sharing our views and experiences of a place. And, you know, you can judge us a little bit or you can judge us a lot, but we're giving you our experiences. And if you're coming in with a closed mind and you're like, oh, all Americans are loud or all Americans are dumb or all Americans are whatever, you're not able to see the full experience of that person. And for me, I actually have a diverse view of Germany now, especially coming from a place where disabled people are treated a little bit differently than they are in Germany. I've had a lot of experiences while I've been here, and I have positive ones and I have negative ones. And it doesn't mean that a place is terrible because you have negative ones or a place is amazing because you have positive ones. It just helps you shape that experience. And so when you're watching these videos, you're gonna see people evolve as time goes forward. And I have evolved as I've been here, and now that I'm coming up on 2 years, I can tell you so many experiences and stories of my time in Germany, some things that have changed, and just in general, really cool stories or really interesting stories for you guys. So if you guys have any questions, especially now that I have a large experience of living here, please ask them in the comments below. I can make videos based off of questions that people ask, but I do have ideas on future videos that I'd like to post. I just wanted to give you guys a good update of why I've been gone for a year, and some life changes that have happened to me. But I hope to post videos on a more consistent basis now that I am finally back. I'm getting treated for my injury, and now that I have a lot more time on my hands. I hope to hear from you guys, and I'm so excited to be back on YouTube, and we will see each other soon. Bye, guys.